Okay, I'm sorry about the technical glitches. Let me begin again. We start with, let us say, n is equal to 8, and then we start with a g, a group we'll call as integers n. So this is a group ring of integers modulo n. Now suppose we want to define an element in this group. So let us see how we can define. So first you can generate a random element g dot, let us say, a random element, or you can say an element. Then this will give you an element. Okay, or you can even say a random element. So g dot random element, this gives you 1. If I do once more, it may give something else, right? Okay, so let us say, for example, if I define a is equal to something, let us say I have some integer, right? Now we want to check whether a lies in G. The answer is yes, true. But what are the elements in G? So if I want to list the elements of G, so you can simply say G dot list. Then it will be, the elements are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 7. So when I say 0 here, it means uh, the equivalence class of 0, the equivalence class of 1, and so on, right? So let us say here I said a is equal to this number. Obviously this number is not here in this list, but what it does, it goes modulo 8, and whatever is the remainder, it checks whether that is in G or not. Then obviously it will be in G, so that is what how it finds. Okay, but if you want to define the element, you can say, let us say, G is equal to G, in the bracket you can write, for example, whatever integer you want. Let us say this integer. Now what is G here? G is 6. That means when this number is divided by 8, the remainder is 6. Okay, you can find order of this element. So if I say G dot order, you will get whatever is the order. You can take another element. Let us say, if I take another element, let us say, for example, G1, which is G of some element like this. Let us see what is G1. This, you can add these two elements, you can multiply. So if I say G1 into G, you will get, and I can say G1 plus G, then we get 7. So all these operations are valid here. You can even find out what is order of this group by simply writing G dot order. So in this case, we know the order of this group is 8, but you can also find the same thing using cardinality. So if I say G dot cardinality, you will get the cardinality of this set. Okay, next, you can even construct the Cayley table. Okay, so if I say G dot for example, addition table, then you will get this addition table with respect to this addition, right? Here G is a group with respect to addition. So by default it takes the elements as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Okay, but if you want, you can write this uh, in a slightly different way, where you can mention the elements of the group. So if I can say I can say names is equal to, in the single quote you say elements. If you say the elements, then it will elements, then it will print the addition table, and it will mention, instead of A, B, C, D, it will write the actual element of a group. So in case of small order group, this is quite all right, but in case the group elements are, let us say, some permutation group, then the elements itself will be quite big, and therefore if you write the addition table or multiplication table, Kelly table in particular, it will look slightly ugly. Okay, so you can also print multiplication table. So for example, if I say g dot multiplication table, and then let me just give like this, and if I say again the elements elements why, so names is equal to elements, then this is multiplication table of this z mod 8z, and from this multiplication table you can check whether this is a group under multiplication or not. For example, if you look at this row, you don't see multiplicative inverse, so that means this is not going to be a group. So by looking at this multiplication table, one can find out whether it is a group or it is not a group. Okay, so other operations again you can perform in this. Now let us look at if just now we saw that from this multiplication table that this is not a group under multiplication. However, if you look at all the elements which are invertible under multiplication, then it forms a group. This is what is called units in Zn. So let us take n is equal to, for example, let us say 24, and define a group G which is equal to integers n. Okay, now what are the units in this? These are going to be all those integers from 0 to 23 which are co-prime to 24. Okay, so let us construct that. So if I say u is equal to list of integers, let us say a, such that so a varies in let us say G, for a in G, and in case GCD of this bracket is not required, GCD of a and n, if this is equal to 1, then you print this elements. So let us for a in G. Okay, now let us list what are these elements u. So these are 1, 5, 7, 11 and so on. These are all co-prime to 24, you can check. So these are the units in Z mod 24Z, but the same thing one can also find out using inbuilt function which is called unit groups. So let us look at how we can find. So if you say G dot unit group, then this is what it says. It is a multiplicative group, C2 cross C2 cross C2. So let us say I'll call this as, let us say, H, and see whether it is the same thing. So if I say H dot list, then you will get here the group of 8 elements. So you can see here this by default it takes generators as F1, F2, F0 and so on, but it has 8 elements. You can see what is H dot order. H dot order will give you the order of this group. You can even find what are the order of each element. So for example, if I say what are the generators of this H dot generators, this has 3 generators, for example, F0, F1, F2, right? And let me store these generators in F1, F2, F3, and look at what is order of, for example, F1. So how do I find out? F1 dot order, this order is just one order, spelling mistake, F1 dot order, so this has order 2. If I say what is order of F2, F2 dot order, this is again 2, right? What is order of F1 into F2? So again you can say F1 into F2 and its order. So I can put it in bracket dot order, you will get again this is 2. So okay, right. So this is how you can construct units in Zmod NZ. We will come back to this group and see what other property, or you can even, so the way you look at what are the operations that you can perform on this group is using dot tab. So if I say G dot tab, press tab, G dot and press tab, all these options will be available to you. For example, you can check whether this group is isomorphic to some other group. You can look at all subgroups, etc. All these things are available. As we go along, we will look at some of these functions. Okay, so this is how we can define uh, Zmod NZ and units in Zmod NZ. Now let us look at how we can define the symmetric group. In fact, I must tell you this, in SAGE, majority of the concepts are being done using symmetric groups because it provides a lot of computational facilities. So most of the groups in SAGE are defined in terms of symmetric group. Okay, so let us see how we can define. So suppose we want to define, let us say S4 group of symmetries on 4 symbols, or let us say this is nothing but bijections from 1 2 3 4 to itself. So let me call this as S4, and then you have to say symmetric group, and in bracket you write the number 4. So this is a now let us ask what is this S4. This says it is a symmetric group of order 4 as a permutation group. Okay, so let us again look at how we can get inside this group and do various computations. So for example, I can ask for S4 dot domain, S4 dot domain. So the domain of this, that is the domain of this function, in this case it is 1 2 3 4, the list 1 2 3 4. You can ask for what is order of S4. So order of S4 will be actually 4 factorial, S4 dot order, or you can also ask for cardinality. So this is 4 factorial, which is 24. Now let us look at, you can list all the elements. So if I say S4 dot list, then these are all elements. So of course any element in this will be written as a product of cycles. Okay, so that's how you can see. Now you can even check whether this group is abelian or not. I'm sure all of you know what is the answer, but if I say for example S4 dot is underscore abelian, then it says that it is false. So let us look at, can we find two elements in S4 and take their product and show that those two elements are not commutative? So let us say if I want to do that, what we can do, let us generate some random elements. So let us say I'll call this as G1 is equal to G dot random element, and let us print what is G1. So not G, it is S4. G was, I think, earlier defined S4. So this is cycle 1 4, and let us again define another random element. Let us say G2. Okay, so this is this, and let us check whether G1 into G2 is 1 2. Is it same as G2 into G1? So can I say double equal to G2 star G1? The answer is false. So you can even print what is G2 star G1. In this case it is 2 4, where G1 G2 we saw it is 1 2. So therefore this group is not commutative, it is not an abelian group, and that you can check. There is an inbuilt function to check whether a group is an abelian group. So if I say G4 dot is underscore abelian, not G4, S4 dot is underscore abelian, then it says it is false. Therefore this is not an abelian group. Okay, so now let us say, suppose we want to define an element manually. Okay, instead of this particular element, we want to define some other element and not taking randomly. Is how we can do. So let us say I'll define X is equal to, or let us say A is equal to. So there are different ways of defining. One way to define is you can say G and then inside single quote or double quote you just give the cycle. So for example, I can say 1 comma 2 comma 4. This is one element, and let us say B, and then we can okay, so let us define this. What will happen? Not G, I think it is S4. Yeah, sorry, I keep forgetting. This is S4. Yeah, so this let us say, can we ask whether A lies in S4? So A in S4. Yes, the answer is true. Therefore, this is. Let us define another element. Let us define another element B in S4. So S4 inside bracket, inside double quote or single quote, you write another element. Let us say 1 comma 3. 1 comma 3. Right. So this is how, and then we can define A into B and all sorts of operations. We can even find out what is A dot inverse. That will give you the inverse of this element. We can find out what is A dot sign. So that will give you +1 -1, what is the sign of any of this permutation. Okay. There is another way in which you can define this the elements. Let me tell you another way. So I can say, let us say I have defined A, B, C. A, B I have defined. Let me say I'll define A1. A1 is equal to you can even mention the image. Let us say image of one is, for example, image of one is, let us say 4, and image of 2 is, let us say 3, and image of 3 is 1, and image of 4 is, let us say 2. Okay, so this is what we want. So how will you define? Then you can say G, not G, S4. S4 in the bracket you write this, the image. Okay, now again let us check whether A is in A1 is in S4. In S4, the answer is yes. So this is another way of defining. You can also get these images once you give write any cycle. So for example, we have defined let us say a we have defined A is this. Now if I ask for A A dot X for X in S4 dot domain, make a list of this, then it will tell you the image of 1 is 2, the image of 2 is 4, the image of 3 is 3 is fixed in this, and image of 4 is 1. Okay, so both way it works. You can either give the list of images and construct a group, or you can get those images also. You can even find out A dot matrix. So this is a permutation, right? 1 to 4 is a permutation. In this case 3 is fixed, so it will give you permutation matrix. So you can see here 1 is going to 4, 2 is going to 1, 3 is as it is, 4 is going to 1, right? So that is a permutation matrix. 1 goes to 2, and then 2 goes to 4, that's what you can see here, and 3 remains as it is, and 4 goes to 1. Okay, so that is the permutation matrix with respect to given permutation in any of this symmetric matrix. You could also define the symmetric matrix on symbol. Suppose I want to define a group of permutation on A, B, C, D. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, I want to define A, B, C, D. So that is also possible. So let me say I'll define S is equal to the way to define is, again you use symmetric group, and then in the bracket you mention the list of symbols. So, and it could be any symbol. So for example, I'll mention A, then I'll mention B, I'll mention C, and then D, maybe one more, E. Okay, so now you can ask for what is S. S is a symmetric group of order 5 factorial as a permutation group, and you can do all the computations what you did in S4. So for example, if I say S dot random element, then you will get a random element. Now this will be in terms of the symbols A, B, C, D. Okay, so this also is possible. You can ask for what is, so if I give some particular element, let us say, let me call this element as G1. Now see what is G1. G1 will have changed, and if I say G1 dot domain, now this time it will say domain, it will say ABCD. And if I say what is G1 dot parent, then it is coming from symmetric group of order 5. Okay, so we will come back to this more when we do more computations in this group. Now let me uh, just look at, we know that every element in this group is given by a product of cycle, right? Every permutation is a product of cycle, right? And any cycle can be written as product of transposition. So in Sage there is no inbuilt function to write as a transposition, but it is quite easy. I'm sure all of you know how to write any cycle as a product of transposition. So let me give you a small procedure to do that. So before this, let us define a group of symmetric group on 10 symbols. So G is equal to symmetric group 10, and take a random element. Let us say random element in this case is 1, 3, 9, 4, 7, 2, and 6. This. Now there is an inbuilt function to find what is called cycle type of any permutation. So in this case, actually this is only one cycle here, right? Let me generate once more. Okay, now this is a 2 cycle, right? 1, 8, 7, and then 2, 10, 6, 5, 3, 9, 4. These are the 2 cycles. Now the cycle type of this, let me yeah, already it is printed here below. Okay, so let me see what is cycle type of this. So it is giving a pair, a list where the first element is the length of the largest cycle. So here in this case the largest cycle is 7, and the second one is 3, 7 and 3, right? Therefore it gives you, it prints the list in which the first element will be the largest cycle, second element will be the second largest, and so on. Okay, otherwise it may put in case there are some fixed elements, it will put 1 1, something like that. Let us, for example, let us generate once more. Now you see this cycle is what is the cycle type? This is of length 10. If I generate once more, let us say once more, this is cycle type will be 7 3, and so on, right? Okay, so for example, let us define one more random element on our, let us say G is equal to G of, let us give, let us say 1 comma 6 comma 3 4. So this is a cycle of 4. That means if I, this is this, and let me also say multiplied by let us say 3 comma 5. Okay, now let us find out what is cycle type of G. G dot cycle G dot cycle type, G dot cycle type. In this case, what will it give? It will give you again a list. The first element will be 4, the second element will be 2, and the remaining, so 4 plus 2 6, remaining 4 of them will be 1 1 1 1. So let us see. Yeah, that's what I said. So this is 4, that is the longest cycle here, and then followed by 2, and then all are remaining are fixed. So that's a cycle type. So this we will use in order to write uh, a cycle, any cycle, as a product of transposition, right? Okay, so let us take so how we are going to do. So we will actually, so here we for example, if you look at this group over symmetric over 6, or yeah, so in this case, if I want to find the transposition, we can write this as 1 6 1 5 1 4 1 2 1 3, write that, and there are other ways of writing. Okay, so what we is done here is, first you find out what is once you give the element as an argument, you find out where it is coming from. So look at the parent, and then in that you find out the cycle type and take the first element. Of course, this is a cycle, so the remaining will be a cycle of length k, and then it will be k comma 1111. So I don't want this 1111. I want only the first entry, which is the 0th index. So and then look at what is the length of that k, right? K is the length of the cycle, and then what you are doing is you are running I from the k minus 1, that is last one, go all the way up to 0th entry, and then you append in this h as I1 comma I2, and then return that as a list. Okay, so now let us look at, in case this cycle is this, what is going to be the transposition. So again, you can see here 1 comma 6, 1 comma 5, 1 comma 4, 1 comma 2, 1 comma 3, and so on. And you can take a product of this. Product of this is it will come in reverse order. So that's why let me make it in tr dot reverse, and then if you take the product, you will get the original element. Okay, so this is again an advantage in case you have a little bit knowledge of programming. You can explore these things. So whatever is not already inbuilt in Sage, you can still create your own program and do all these things. Okay, so there are other things that we will come back to this. Okay, now let us look at how we can define dihedral group in Sage. So let us say, suppose we want to define a dihedral group D6, right? So that you know that it is a group of it is generated by two elements, rotation and reflection, on these regular 6 gon. Okay, so you can, when you do the rotation, it will have 6 elements, and there will be another 6 reflections. Okay, so there is an inbuilt function to generate a dihedral group. So it is called dihedral group, and the order is 6 here. Now see what is this. This is a dihedral group, order 12, as permutation group. So here also this thinks of as a permutation group. Let us list what are the elements in this. There are 12 elements, so we don't have we can be very easily listed. So g dot list, this is the list of elements in this case, and you can see here these are all permutations 1 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, so you can check whether this group is an abelian or not. So for example, if I say g dot is underscore abelian, the answer is false. So you can find out again some elements. For example, let me just take one element. So if I take this element, let me define g is equal to, or let me say r is equal to g inside single quote or double quote, write these things. Now find out what is r dot order of this element. So this is of order 3. So this is actually a order 3 element. Similarly, you can find out order of other elements. Suppose I want to find order of all the elements in this group. So how we can do here? So we can simply say a dot order, and for a in G. So you can see here the order of this group is the elements of order 1, 3, 6, 2, 6, and 2, 2. So there is no element of order 4, though 4 divides 12, but there is no element of order 12 in this case. Okay, there is no element of order 4 in this case. Okay, so you can even list all the subgroups, etc. We will come to that a little later. So this is how you can define dihedral group. You can even define alternating group. What is alternating group? AN, these are all permutations of sign plus 1, right? Even permutations. So if I say A, let me say A5, this is a alternating group, and in the bracket you write 5, and you can ask what is this. This is alternative group of order 5 factorial by 2. So S5 has 5 factorial elements, and half of that will be in alternative group. Okay, again you can, for example, you can check whether this group is simple. So if I say A5 dot is underscore simple, okay, the answer is true. This is a simple group. I'm sure you know what is meaning of simple group. And other companies, for example, if you want to find out what are the generators of this group, so if I say A4 dot gens, not A4, A5 dot gens, so it has two generators, namely cycle 3 4 5 and 1 2 3 4 5. So these two elements will generate entire A5. Okay, you can also create, for example, Cayley table of this. So if I say A5 dot Cayley table, this is the Cayley table. But again, since it has lots of elements, you can see here this is not properly visible. We hardly can make out anything. That's why that's what I meant. When you have large groups, then printing Cayley table is not advisable. Okay, so if I want to find identity element, then you saw that identity element is given by empty round bracket, but you can also write A4 dot 1, not A4, A5 dot 1, or you could say A5 dot identity. So both are same. Okay, you can find the identity element. So for example, I can take a particular element, let us say take a particular element of A5. So let us take a random element A, which is equal to A5 dot random element, and let us say what is A. So A is this one, and let us write A star its inverse. So inverse you can also write, you can write as A dot inverse, or you can write tilde A, both are same. This into this, is it equal to A5 dot 1, A5 dot 1 spelling mistake. Right, so this is true. So A into A inverse is identity, that is what it is checking. Okay, now let us look at one more group. So this client 4 group, there is an inbuilt function. Let me say it is K4 is equal to client 4 group, and you know that this element, this has got 4 elements, so I can list all of them. Again, this is given as a permutation group. That's what I said, many groups are defined in terms of permutation group. And similarly, you can define quaternion. So let me say Q is equal to, so there is inbuilt function to define quaternion group. Okay, and you can find out what is order of this quaternion group. I'm sure you know this is group of order 8. Now let us list all the elements. So Q dot list, these are the 8 elements. You can find out Cayley table of this, Cayley table of this. These are the Cayley table. Again, this Cayley table is given in terms of A, B, C, D, and of course this quaternion you can define in terms of I, J, K, and also in terms of matrix group. Okay, so that also is possible. But you can look at various elements in this, look at these orders, etc. All these things you can look at. Right. Okay, so let us look at matrix group, how we can define matrix group in SAGE. You can look at what are the facilities available for as far as matrix group is concerned in SAGE. So if you say group dot matrix, groups dot matrix, and then press tab, just 1 second, it is coming, groups dot matrix dot tab, then you will see here there are several options available. One is GL, stands for general linear group. Then you have SL, stands for special linear group. Then you also have symplectic group. You have orthogonal group. All these facilities are there. But at present, in this, let us explore two groups. For example, GL, general linear group, and SL, special linear group. Okay, so GL. So if I want, let us say, set of 2 cross 2, or let us say I want 3 cross 3 real matrices which are invertible matrices. So I have to say here GL3 and RR. RR stands for real field. So let me call this as GL. Okay, let me call this as G. Okay, now ask what is G. This is a general linear group of degree 3, right? 3 by 3, that is here degree 3 over a real field of this 53 bits precision, right? Of course, this is you can ask whether this group finite group. I am sure you know the answer. So G dot is underscore finite. We know this is not true. This is, and you can ask for what is G dot cardinality. So it will say infinity. This is an infinite group, and you can define elements of this group exactly the way we define matrix. Okay, similarly you can define SL3 over R. This time let us define SL3 over ZZ, that is integer. So set of all, this means that set of all 3 cross 3 matrices with determinant 1 and over integer. That's what it means. Okay, that's what you can see here, right? Okay, so you can even find out what are the generators of this. So for example, if I say GL3ZZ, set of all 3 cross 3 invertible matrices over Z, and find out what are the generators of this. Let us see whether we can get finitely many generators. So let us say gens. Yes, so it has 4 generators, right? This is one, second. So for example, if I say G0 gens dot 1, let us say the second one, this is the one. Okay, and we can find out what is order of this. First of all, A, and let us see what is A dot order. So this has order 2. Of course, you can't expect every element in this to have finite order because this is an infinite group, right? Okay, so for example, if I want to define a matrix group generated by, let us say, M1 and M2, which is M1 is second generator, M2 is third generator. So let me just again print this generator so that's very clear. So this and this. So how will you do that? I'm calling this as M1 as generate the first element, that is the second in this list, and M2 as gens 2, that is the third element, and then say matrix group generated by M1 comma M2. This has order 8. So you have found a subgroup of GL3ZZ of order 8. Similarly, you can try to find out subgroup of other order. So for example, there is also a function called description, structure description. So this will tell you what kind of group it is, what is the structure of that group. So if in this case this is a group of order 8, so we know various group of order 8. For example, just now we saw one group as quaternion. So whether it is quaternion, is it isomorphic to quaternion, or is it a cyclic group, or is it a group of other order? So let us see. This group is D4, structure is D4, so that means it is isomorphic to D4. We can check that. Let us see how will you check. So we can say H dot is underscore isomorphic to D4. How D4 is defined? Dihedral group, dihedral group of 4. The answer is true. So this group is isomorphic to D4. Okay, so we have found another D4 in terms of matrix group. Okay, so that's very good. Right. Okay, you can also define matrices over finite field. Okay, you can define matrix group over finite field. So for example, let us say we want to define matrix group over finite field fp5, z mod 5z. Okay, we know that z mod 5z is a field. So if I want to define a group of set of all invertible matrices over this 3 cross 3 invertible matrices over z mod 5z, then this is how we can define GL. In the bracket you write the order and then the field. Now you can see here this is a general linear group of order 3 over finite field, right? Okay, so and we can ask for how many elements are there in this group. So for example, is G finite? Yes, answer is yes. But how many elements are there? It has element these many, right? 1,48,008 no 14,88,000, right? 14,88,000 elements it has. And I'm sure you know how to count these elements. Okay, you know how to count these elements. So how does one count the elements in this? So there is a very, very simple. So for example, if the first row in this, if it is n by n matrix, the first row can take any elements 0 to fp, but all of them cannot be 0. That is why the number of option in first row is going to be p to the power n minus 1. Now second row cannot be multiple of the first row, any p multiple of first row. So that is why second row element will be p to the power n minus p, and third row will be p to the power n minus p square, and so on. So if you multiply all these things, that becomes the order. So total order of G, L, and F, P is p to the power n minus 1 into p to the power n minus p into p to the power n minus 2, and so on, right? So so in this case, what was the p? P was 5 and n is 3. So let us look at. So if I say p to the power 3 minus 1, p to the power 3 minus p to the power 3 minus p square, you get 14 lakhs 88,000 elements. So that is the order of element. Similarly, you can find out what is order of SL and F. So for example, in this case, G special linear group 3 cross 3 special linear group over this field Z mod 5Z. This has order 3,72,000. And how does one get this? Actually, this is number of elements in GL 3FP divided by P minus 1. And so you can see here, this is the order of GL 3FP and divided by P minus 1, and this is what you get. But why this divided by P minus 1? That's a very simple explanation. Actually, you can define a homomorphism from GLN FP to FP star. FP star means the non-zero element in this, as A going to determinant A. This you can check that this is an isomorphism, because the isomorphism under multiplication, and then you look at the first isomorphism theorem. From that it will say that this divided by the kernel, that modulus of that the cardinality of that will be the cardinality of FP. So that is, and when you go this modular the quotient, what you get is nothing but set of all matrices of determinant 1. Okay, so that is go modular the kernel. So you will get, that is how this p minus 1 divided. Okay, right. Yeah, so let us move on to some other group. These things I will not get into. Okay, now let us look at, we have already seen how to find order of an element. So let us take a group G, let us say symmetric group 6, and take two elements. Let us say I'll take an element X as a random element, random element. So G dot random element, and let us say what is, let us say print what is X, print X. Similarly, we can define another element, let us say Y. This is Y, and let us see what is X into Y. X into Y, this is this. Now what is, we know that order of, in this case order of this is 3, order of this is also 3. So let us see what is uh, order of x into y. We already know from this x into y order. In this case it is 5, whereas order of this is 3, order of this is also 3. So order of product of element need not be product of their order, right? And you know what is a result, that if in case a and b commutes, then order of a into b will be order of the LCM of order of a into order of b. So let us try to verify this, for example. So let, instead of s6, let me say I'll take s8. Okay, and take two elements. Let us take two elements, again random elements, g, and in the let us say a cycle 1 1 3 6 7. This is of order 4, and let us take another element y, g of order, let us say I'll see 1 4 6 7. Let us say let me put something in between, 2 3. So this is of order 6. Okay, now let us check whether this commutes x star y, x star y, is it equal to y star x? In this case the answer is false, so it is not true. So let us generate something which in which it does. So for example, instead of s8, let me say s10. Now I will do something. So this is a 4. Now I'll remove these things. I'll put another 6 elements. So let us say 2 is missing there, 4 is missing, 5 missing, 8 is missing, 9, and this is 10. So x is of, mistake, invalid list of cycles in permutation, 2 4 5 8 9 10. First one is okay. This right. I have not executed the first one. I changed from 8 to 10, but I did not execute, so it doesn't. Okay. Now it since these two cycles are disjoint, they will commute, so it is correct. Now let us look at what is order of x into y. X into y, x into y order dot order. This is 12, which is nothing but LCM of 4 and 6. So we have verified that, and all the properties that you have studied about the order of an element you can explore. So for example, let me also look at, we know that order of an element is same as order of its inverse. So if I say a, take a random element, a dot a is equal to g dot random element, and look at a dot order is the same as take the inverse of a and then take its order. Sorry, this inverse you have to put it in a bracket. Yes, the answer is true. So inverse, you can write a dot inverse or you can put tilde. Okay, both it works. Now let us look at, we can also find out exponent of a group. What is exponent of a group, of a finite group? So if you have a G which is a finite group, then you look at the order of elements in this each element in this group, and look at the LCM of all these orders. That is what is called exponent. And in other words, you can define this as you if k is the exponent, that means k is the smallest integer for which a to the power k is identity for every a. For every a in G, a to the power k is identity. So very easily we can verify this. So for example, let me just explain this particular code. So if G is a group of symmetric group S6, then the exponent of this is 60, right? That means every element in S6, if I take if I raise this to power 60, it will be identity, and that is nothing but the LCM of all these orders. So let us see how we can justify these two things. right? So first, if I take the A dot order and for A in G and take the LCM of all this, that comes as 60. So that it verifies that the exponent is LCM of order of each and every element in this. Or you can write a small code, a small loop, and then, so what is done in this case? So I varies over the order from starting from 1 to, because order cannot be 0, so from 1 to n, that is the order. So when we are taking the range, it will go one less, that is why I have added 1. And then index, start with index 0, and so print the index. And in case a to the power identity is equal to identity element for every a in this, then you break, right? So the first time when every element order becomes when order of every element becomes I, that particular I you want to catch. So that is why this loop is broken after uh, index becomes order of this group. So index is added, right? Okay, here index is added. So let us run this and print what is the index. So again you got this 60. So this is the exactly we are finding the smallest integer, positive integer k, such that a to the power k is equal to identity for every a in G. That is what is done here. Okay, so this is finding index. Now let me quickly look at how to find subgroups of a group. So let us start with small examples. So for example, if I have G is equal to, let us say, dihedral group, let us say 6. Okay, so this has been 12 elements. Now you can find out all subgroups of G. So and there is a option called G dot subgroups. So this has lots of subgroups. Okay, let me store this in a function called, in a variable called subgroups. Then you can see what is the length of these subgroups. The length is 16. So there are 16 subgroups of dihedral groups D6 in this case, right? And you can even generate subgroup by giving the generators. So let us take an example. So G is a symmetric group S4. G1 is an element 1, 2, 4. G2 is an element cycle 1, 4. And then let us say H1 is a subgroup generated by G1, G2. So how do you do that? Find out. So you can say H1 is equal to G dot subgroup, and sorry, in the square bracket you write G1. So that is your H1. If I want generated by two elements, say G1, G2, then you list this in G1, G2. So this is H1 and H2. You can check whether they are subgroups. So if I say H1 or H2 dot is subgroup, is underscore subgroup of G, the answer is true. That's how we have generated. So it is true. Okay, so not only you can generate a subgroup, but you can list all the subgroups of a finite group. Of course, when the group is of large size, listing all the subgroups, it may be able to do, but it may take a lot of time. So you should not try to venture in listing all the subgroups of a group in case the group is of order very large. Okay, let me also look at how to define cosets of a group. Okay, so how do we do that? So again, let us define a symmetric group S4 and define a subgroup. I think this is the same thing what we defined earlier. So H is a subgroup generated by this S1, G1 and G2. So this G1 is 1, 2, 4, G2 is 1, 4. Right. Let us look at what is order of this G dot H dot order. This is a subgroup of order 6. Okay, this is a subgroup of order 6. Okay, now let us find coset of this. So there is an inbuilt function to find coset. So it is G dot cosets of what? Of H, the cosets of H in G, and then you need to mention, so that you know that there is a notion of right coset as well as left coset. So if I say side is equal to right, side is equal to right, then it will give right coset. So let us store this in RC, stands for right coset. Right, now you can see what is RC. This RC is set of right cosets. So this is S4 is a group of order 24 and H is a group of order 6. So it will have four elements in this right cosets, and that is what you can see here. Similarly, we can define left coset. So how do I define that? I have to say side is equal to left. So this is side is equal to left. Let us rename this as LC, and again you can print. Now the question is, are these two equal? Is left coset is equal to right coset in this case? LC, is it equal to RC? The answer is false. But in this case, it may be answer false. But actually, these are the two lists, and it doesn't know what is the order in which the elements are written. So the Sage also has way to sort out these elements in some particular order, so that comparing will be easier, right? So you can do let us say sort each element in this, sorted each element in this. Let us say I'll say C, for C in RC, that is the right coset. So create a sort, each element is sorted, right? And then again apply sorted, because it will be sorting the list of list, it is sorting. So you have to apply this twice. Okay, so this is the sorted list. So let me rename this as this was RC underscore sorted, for example, RC underscore sorted. Similarly, let us define left coset and sort the elements LC, and in this case I'll put here LC. Now let us compare whether they are equal. So RC sorted, I said not ordered, SORTED, and you can give any name anyway. Sorted, yes. So RC dot sorted, is it equal to LC underscore sorted? Again it says false. So in this case the left coset is not equal to right coset, but actually you know the condition under which left coset is equal to right coset. In case H happens to be normal, then this will be true. So let us generate a normal subgroup and try to verify this. Okay, so how do I generate normal subgroup? So it says knows how to generate subgroups. We already just now saw underscore subgroups will generate all subgroups. It can also generate all normal subgroups. So let us see how will you generate. So if I say G dot normal subgroups, this will give you all the normal subgroups. In this case there are 4 normal subgroups, 1 2 3 4, and you can find out what are the orders of these normal subgroups in this case. So let us say let us generate this as normal, let me call this as N, set of all normal subgroups, and we can find out order of each of these. How do I find? So you can say H dot order for H in N. So the first subgroup is actually the entire group. The second one is of order 12, that is alternating group. Then next one is 4, that is there is a subgroup of order 4 which is normal. So let us catch hold of this subgroup. Okay, so let me again list what are these N. So it seems the third one, that is this is a normal subgroup. So let us define that. So let me call this as let us say H1 is a G dot subgroup generated by the first element is this, second element is this. Now I have to say G, and then inside the bracket I need to give inside single quote, close the bracket. Similarly G, and then bracket, put it in single quote or double quote. Yeah, so this is, now let us say what is H1. H1 is this. What is order of this H1? Order of this, it should be 4. That's correct. Is it normal? Let us check. H1 is it normal? Is normal in G? Yes, this is normal subgroup. Now let us look at generate left coset and right coset, and then check whether they are the same. So let me just copy the same thing. So let us say this is the G dot now H1, and this is the left coset. Then let us generate this is right coset. Let us generate left coset. So this is left. Okay. Now again, if you ask whether left coset is it equal to right coset, the answer is again false, right? But let us compare the sorted one and then see. So again, let us sort them, sorted, and then let us check LC underscore sorted, is it equal to RC underscore sorted? The answer is true. So we have shown that in this case left coset is same as right coset in case the group is subgroup is normal. Okay, that's what you must have studied in theory. Okay, so let me stop here. This group of symmetry we'll look at in the next class. I thought we can finish it today, but there was some technical glitch in the beginning, so I'm sorry about that. And so in this particular lecture, I basically tried to tell you how to define various groups. Of course, there are many other groups which you can define. You can look at help on some of the things like d-cyclic group. You can also define a Rubik cube group. You can define permutation group, or you can define affine Euclidean group. You can define additive abelian group. There are so many options are available in this case. You can look at, let us say, inbuilt help manual on group theory. So you just Google group theory with SAGE. It will give you a help document or manual, so you can go through and see what are the other options available. In the next class we will look at some more concepts in group theory, including group action and maybe Silo's theory. Okay, so that is going to be in the next class. So thank you very much for attending this lecture, and I'll see you in the next class, that is on next Monday.